Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This week, we'll talk about Donald Trump and the trade war. Stick with us until the end. You don't want to miss this. Chris, the US has imposed 25% tariffs of most imports from Canada and Mexico, citing concerns over immigration and drug traffic. In response, Canada and Mexico announced retaliatory tariffs, escalating trade tensions. Despite a brief delay in February 2025, the tariff took effect in March, causing stock market declines and raising fears of economic instability. Negotiations continue with both countries pushing back against US measures and seeking solutions to ease the conflict. My first question to you is, how long do you think this will last?
How long did his show last? Like seriously, as long as he's got his audience, I think this is gonna keep going on. I think even if we get a reprieve, if we get everything settled out and signed into an official, signed off by everybody document like the USMCA, 3 months later, done, gone. So long as he's in, this is what we can expect for the rest of our God-given days.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's going to change. I really don't.
I don't know exactly what he wants to do. That's why that's why he's the president and I'm not. But I'm really curious to know why he does this, because that's obviously a way to destabilize his negotiating partners. But why does he do this with Canada?
Well, and like I honestly,
and Mexico, like two neighbors,
Yeah. Well, and I had actually said this when Russia invaded Ukraine, and Trump's immediate reaction was, "Damn, that's a smart man." Like, since that moment, I thought, "Holy shit, are we in trouble?" Because he's going to get back in. I really did think that, as strange as it may be. And if that's kind of the way he looks at things, yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. And I just think all of this is now starting to culminate into, what that was exactly. I think we're in kind of scary times, and I do think there's this chaos that he's creating, and it seems like everything's he doesn't have a clue what he's doing, and it's just minute by minute. I do think it is partly that, but I think it's all part of the bigger structure of, I'll do whatever I feel like in the moment, because it's all part of the chaos plan, the chaos strategy anyway.
Yeah.
Which breaks down. And if this happens, cool. And if this happens, cool. I don't really care, because at the end, this is how it's going to culminate and end up. And yeah, I think it all works for him. Win, lose, or draw. I think it all fits with, some sort of little plan that he's got concocted in his head. The ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, that's a good
Always
way
like
to
that
put
expression. Sorry.
And so this is my point, okay? Because when we say US-Canada trade war heats up as Trump doubles metal tariffs, steel and aluminum, then backs off. You understand?
No.
So this is called push and pull. Is a technique of manipulation or negotiation used by a lot of people. But this works if you are in a position of force, or if your opponent perceives you as a person in a position of strength. So my point is that, and we come back to the decisions that we made here in Canada, places us in a really bad position towards United States. And that, because of our policies, now we are paying the price. Unfortunately, we're paying the price because we are in a position of weakness towards the United States. And this guy takes advantage of it because that's what people like him do.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, and on the world front and the vast majority of leaders, this is what puts you in a real a lower position of power, because you do still have power. Canada still has power for sure. As Doug Ford is trying to issue right now. If you just don't really care, then all the cards are in your court.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. A whole bunch of our people are unemployed. The education system's going to put whatever it is, right? Like, I don't care. He doesn't care. It doesn't affect him personally. So really, at the end of the day, cool. We're good. Cool. We're not good. Cool. Who cares? These guys are weaker because they actually do have responsibilities to uphold that they take seriously. Not always in the manner that everyone would want or expect. And I think we're seeing a lot of that with divisiveness, even amongst Canadians now. And I was like, let's not beat up on the aggressor. Let's beat up on the poor sod who kind of put us into this position, almost making him into a hero. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that.
Yes.
He wins. Like he wins.
It's true. It's true. I used to live in Quebec, so I see the way people think there. Now I live in Alberta. I see the way people think here, and this is so good point. And even me, sometimes I'm like, sometimes it's not just the way the let's say what's the worst is the equalization payments. That will be a subject that will come back because of this guy.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it bad? Me, I believe, like, it can be both. It can be both. Because it's true, it divides Canadians, but at least it pushes us to do something about it. Because we don't want to be like, I don't want to be in this position again in the future.
Yeah. And just to talk on that for a minute, if we could, I think that is whenever you have disruption, you've got opportunity.
Yep.
All around. And yeah, I do think this can absolutely make us stronger. It can make the European Union stronger. It could very much go the other way, where suddenly, but I mean, at the end of the day, whatever disrupts has some opportunities for some good things. And I think if we kind of concentrate on that and just take everything that we can't directly have control over and just concentrate on the things that we can influence, then maybe we can pull some good stuff out of it. In the meantime, though, it's going to be pretty chaotic.
Yes. And do you think what I believe that he does, he wants to create so much chaos outside the United States that the companies will say, I will not endure this for 4 years. I will just move my headquarters or my production to the States.
Yeah.
European companies, more or less, but Mexican companies or Canadian companies, that is a real danger that they will happen. The best example, Brookfield. Brookfield with Mark Carney. They moved in October to New York because he knew what it was coming. It was better for his company to be in the States.
It's ironic the timing on that, and just the the web of everything that involved, right?
Yeah.
Pretty insane. Yeah, it's going to be some interesting times ahead for sure. I've been trying to keep that old expression, the positives, negatives, but thinking makes it so. We'll see. We'll see what happens with all this. But I don't think any of this is going to end soon, even if we come to some unbelievably favorable agreements for the US. Even if that happens, I don't think we've seen anywhere near the end of this.
Yeah. What I believe he'll do at that point, he will do like a bait and switch at least two or three
Yeah, yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. At least two or three times. Then he'll come back on his word at least once, citing that we also came back on our word in the
yeah,
past. And after everything, like maybe in 6 months, a year or something, that we tired of it, then he's gonna do one more. Like, no, I don't want to do this. This is not worth it. And
yeah,
then he'll get just one last point.
yeah,
So this is how it's going to work. We're going to be grinded so badly, Canadians, because of our policies. So let this be a lesson. And also, like you said, I really like what you said. Positively, bring Canada together, man. Bring
mhm,
Canada together.
yeah,
That will be marvelous.
yeah,
Okay, pipelines also, so we can eat. Because I don't want to talk about on this podcast about the food banks and everything. We talked about
mhm,
it at length. But let's build. Let's build. Let's come together.
yeah. Well, and I think in order to do that, though, we've got to keep our eye on the end game because I mean we're already starting to see. I didn't read it this morning. I only saw the headline on it, but I knew it was coming. With Doug Ford's cut him off energy and Danielle Smith's approach at diplomacy. Like we're already starting to see some of the whole. It's going to be tough to get everybody on the same page over the long haul, so that we
Yeah.
do see this
Yeah.
actually coming in strength. But
Yeah.
but the potential's there.
It's true what you're saying. The thing is, we have to understand some things. The Ontario can add tariffs on it to threaten to stop the electricity. May even I tried it with Gronk, and may even be considered as an act of war if you stop the electricity for 1.5 people.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is not a joke. Okay, it's not.
Yeah.
I didn't invent that. You go Grok or Gemini or whatever ChatGPT, and they will tell you in some condition, yes. Russia didn't cut the energy for the Ukrainians, for because they have access to it. They can do it.
Well,
So
I mean,
that was a little bit too much, in my opinion. A little bit too much.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. When you're looking at something, okay, we've had so many conversations with people that earlier on, he's the president of the United States. He can't just do whatever he wants. We've got Senate, we've got Congress, we've got all these checks and balances in place, but there's loopholes on everything. So tariffs on lumber. We have a military, and the military lives in barracks, and the barracks depend on lumber. So national security. When he can pull out whatever he wants on that aspect to do whatever he wants without the checks and balances, and I mean that's not 100% true, but pretty darn close, or at least it feels like it. Something like that, I would actually say, yeah, that now is a bit of a national security thing. So, man, if he's going to make this into doing whatever he wants, like,
do you understand?
Yeah, like that is a real definite.
You're very smart. Exactly. Because we don't want him to invoke the Emergency Act against us because we stopped the electricity.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we don't have no army, no nothing. It was weird. It was a little bit too much. I don't hate Ford. I don't like him too much either because he changes his. Like if there's a politician in that I say, okay, is the word the less of them all, it's Danielle Smith, and we talk for us here, but I'm so happy. She's a human, but if you look over the years, her stance, most of them are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say.
I mean, it's tough to be diplomatic, with the U.S. right now. But I think it's like it is necessary. It's the man. In my heart, I'm like, yeah, Ford.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
I'm doing this, and
David
and Goliath.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying, because I like him on some points, Doug Ford, like this one.
I'm flip flopping like crazy, but at the end of the day, I think reason has to win, and I think Danielle's taking the right path. I really do,
Yeah,
like in my heart of
yeah,
hearts. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also when but she also stood like for Canada, like in the last speech, you understood. She said this is not good. We will apply tariffs on some of them. We'll take whatever the booze off, whatever the Canada does. We're all gonna do it together. So she's very good. She's very good. I like her so much.
mm,
And one of the things is that um, if because Ford also said that Diana Smith can do the same thing with the oil and gas, add an export tax like he does, 25% on electricity.
yeah,
If we do this is what I'm saying, that he's a little bit Ford is not thinking sometimes. If because to get the oil to the eastern part of Canada, it goes down to the States,
no,
and then it comes back to
no,
line 9 in Ontario and Quebec,
no,
So if we apply 25%, it's like we apply 25% on Quebec and Ontario as an export tax. You
yeah,
understand?
no,
Which is one of the reasons she's against it. Like we're not going to tax our own Canadians.
yeah. Well, well, yeah, and who knows how much further it goes from there too.
Exactly. Maybe they'll apply another export tax to them.
Yeah.
you know?
Or even, I mean, so Russia and Ukraine had a similar situation with that, right? Like
Yeah.
Russian pipelines went through Ukraine, and
Oh
they had an
yeah.
agreement. I mean, they're shipping their oil through pipelines while being attacked, but they had an agreement in place. That actually meant something to those people. This doesn't mean anything over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can definitely do some countermeasures that would be strong and in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. Bing,
Yeah.
press a button.
That's it. Exactly. And I will do another podcast like more precise about some details. But the GDP is our GDP is around 13% or something that we exchange with the US. I have to look, but theirs it's 1%. It's the same with Mexico. It's
Yeah.
1%, but Mexico's GDP is 22%. It's even higher than Canada. So for them, it's like 1%. Okay, I'm going to lose 1%. I'm going to lose 1%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We have to stop playing with this. We will never win a trade war with the States, man. It's
Yeah.
it's economically and impossible, and also
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
and mathematics.
Yeah. Well, that really becomes that tough spot then, right? Like, how much of it is diplomacy? How much of it is measured countermeasures? How much of it is straight up retaliatory? How much of it is the goose and the eagle? Like, how much is just straight up defense? But we will survive, and how much of it is push us, keep pushing us?
Yeah, yeah.
Elbows up.
That's it. That's it.
We'll get
You,
into the fight.
you saw that there was an elbow up restaurant. That
There's an
was
elbows up restaurant.
yeah. I know he was like a special on elbows up Canadians. Trump to start his trade war, whatever.
those,
Yeah. So let's go here. The short history of Trump's tariffs chaos and more that happened this week, right? Because it's very, very difficult to keep up with exactly what he wants. So let's do it. So January 20, at his inauguration, said Canada and China and Mexico will have tariffs on February 1st, right? Then February 1st comes, signs executive order to implement tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, set to start on February 4th, right? Canada announces retaliatory 25% tariffs. Then on February 3rd, delays the tariffs on Canada and Mexico by a month because the Mexico will send 10,000 troops to curb migration, and he's trying to work out economic structures with Canada. The next day, 10% tariffs are in fact put in place against China, and China also issuing retaliatory tariffs. They also put a ban on packages from Hong Kong and China. They had a law for the small packages that I don't see it here. I don't know exactly the terms, but if for small packages you wouldn't pay tariffs, for a value of some, I don't remember exactly,
I think it was
but that was
$100.
banned. Okay, so if you order like for $18, but that will be tariffed now. So Trump says we'll impose 25% tariffs on steel imports in all countries, and raises tariffs from 10 to 55 on aluminum on February 10th. February 13th, he signs for reciprocal tariffs that will go in effect on April 2nd. And then on February 26th, says the cabinet meeting, he might give Canada and Mexico 1 month reprieves on tariffs until April 2nd. So in other words, until April 2nd, there's nothing, if we understand the timeline, right?
Yeah.
The reciprocal will be on April 2nd, right? And all other will be on April 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing was implemented, and I'm tired of reading it.
Yeah, seriously.
And then again, wait, there's more. So on February 27th, Trump reverses course and say they will go into effect March 4th. Okay. And then it goes on. Okay. On March 4th, levies to 25% tariff against Mexico, Canada, and China again. And then Trump delayed tariffs on Mexican goods and Canadian goods on April 2nd. Chris.
You ever watch one of those movies where it's like, there's a really cool storyline here, but they keep jumping back from, timeline to timeline to timeline. And it's like the whole story's ruined because I have no idea what's going on. I can't follow any of it. And I don't know if that's that guy, but the younger. So I feel like that movie right now, but it's real life. Like, can you imagine being the organizations that are actually supposed to be doing stuff with all this in the midst of everybody being fired because of the Doge? Like that's job creation.
Yeah. So the 2 months of GST savings were not that bad for the companies.
Yeah. Holy cow.
If we compare with the up and down of the tariffs, yeah.
Yeah, man, I was mocking that.
Oh yeah, me too. Chris, so let's move on. So we understood that with this guy, he's never over. He's a complete show continually. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now let's come back to Canada. So today the interest rate dropped to 2.75. So a 0.25 basis drop from the Bank of Canada, and also the way he spoke and the articles that had been written on this. I believe this guy has. I don't know what happens. I don't feel that he has a clue what he's doing at this point right now. I don't know if it's the tariffs or something, but the rates are dropping and the inflation will go up. With the tariffs, the inflation will continue if they come on. And also on April 1st, we'll have the carbon tax that goes up a lot. So this is my point, and I want to talk about it. What will happen to the inflation, man? What do you think will happen now?
Yeah, and I don't think nothing. Inflation's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Period. Straight up. Like it's just I think at this point everything is more about um, keeping people from losing their homes, um, deep recession setting in.
Yeah. You are
Uh,
very smart. Exactly my point.
yeah,
And I don't want to
yeah,
talk about it that much, but me too, I feel that.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
real
Like
danger
I think that's
of
just
deep
yeah,
depression in Canada.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just reality
Yeah.
at this point, and not just for Canada either, and not just for Canada, Mexico. I think
Oh, the
globally.
whole world. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a major disruptor,
Yeah.
and for the states,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like for everybody.
They will recover. They will recover the fastest. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see, I guess. I mean, like if the real ploy, and I'm not sure, I think this does have part of it, but yeah, I mean, bring manufacturing back to the States, the auto industry, how fast do you get a plant up? Like
Yeah.
how quickly do you make massive changes to an entire industry that can actually do anything? Does not happen in a year, does not happen in 2 years, does not happen in 3 years, 4 years. Maybe after 5 years, some of this stuff, on that kind of a scale could begin to happen. But even then, and do you really put it into a spot that's volatile?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. We will see. I understand the point. This is my point. Yeah, we will see. Exactly. Because the inflation in Canada, it is influenced a lot by by what the states are doing.
Mhm.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Obviously.
tied, like it
Obviously.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing. I'm talking about the auto industry, and he's kind of crazy thinking we can do this. Well, we can't do this immediately either. We can't just say, okay, well, now we're going to go with shipping oil to Asia. That does not happen overnight.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
Hope. I don't know if it. I don't know if if you can have northern gateway
mm,
ready to ship oil in it in 10 years. I don't think so. Even with all the best, because there's projects that have been refused 10 years after refused. I'm not talking
mhm.
about building them.
Yeah,
Only the permit.
yeah. It's
It's
big.
really
It's
bad.
complicated.
Yeah.
It's even using existing pipelines, there's still massive complications to all this. And not to say that, well, don't bother trying. Obviously
Yeah.
do it again. But I mean, these are big machines. They take time to get rolling. So
Yeah. So this is, I want to show you the Bank of Canada interest rate decision right here. And so from the previous was 3%, and the forecast is 275, and the consensus between the experts is 275, and indeed they dropped the rate at 275, like we said.
yeah.
So in this case, I if we look at the USD Canadian dollar, see, we see that the Canadian dollar appreciated after that, after the announce. So this goes down because it's the parity US dollar Canadian. Okay. So when this goes down, means the Canadian dollar it's higher, it does better, right? So this is again contrary. Usually when you when you lower the rate, you get inflation, so you weak the currency, and that's exactly the contrary. The currency is strengthening now. Today we see it is live, and also another thing that I don't it's see how it is all over the place right now is that the inflation rate came out today also, and the last was 3%. The consensus and the forecast was at 2.9, and the actual inflation rate was 2.8 this morning,
Mm.
which is amazing considering what he does. You understand? This is supposed to be higher.
Right.
If
Right.
all the experts are right about he
Yeah.
does so bad things, it's too bad for the economy, it's bad for the inflation. It's the numbers say exactly the contrary.
Well, sure, except how much has actually been implemented and how much has just been talked about too, though.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
walkbacks on a continual basis. So yes, some are in, some are out, some are just coming in. Yeah, like how do you forecast something from an unforecast? Like the dude's a hurricane, man. Dude's a
it's true.
hurricane. You don't know if this building's going down and this one's going to stay. Like who knows? Those
Exactly.
numbers, I think those numbers are definitely going to be going up. Longer haul.
To if I want to make a prediction, it's the same as you.
Yeah.
It has to. It has to. It's like mathematics.
Yeah.
You understand? Because so he needs to, not he, the United States, they need to implement so fast what you're saying, and I like your point, that the volume and the productivity is so good that it will overtake the price increase from the tariffs.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's basic. I really like listen to financial experts like Mr. Armstrong. He's a good one. So he explains this. So that's what he's betting on. 4 years of extremely bring production, brings jobs here, extreme production, extreme productivity,
Mm-hmm.
AI, high productivity, high efficiency, and to counter the tariffs, and maybe then he can start to think about ending the IRS, the Internal Revenue Agency,
Yeah.
and use the ERS, the External Revenue Agency.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no income tax, only by the export taxes, the tariffs and the export taxes.
Yeah.
He's talking a lot about that. That's the point.
Yeah. He's well, and I don't think he's wrong in any of this. I just don't think it works in a practical sort of way, because this isn't a business. This is a country, and it's not a silo. It depends on international relations for all this, right? So I think, in theory, I think a lot of what he's saying is right. It's just practically, can it happen like that? Some of it maybe over time, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's true. We will see. We will see.
We will see.
Yeah. Chris, I did every point I wanted to do. Is there something else that you want to add?
Just that I'm going to look back on this podcast in 1 year and say, man, were we ever right?
Oh yeah.
And man, were we ever wrong? Like, just it's like,
I love it. Exactly. That's so good. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see where she goes.
Well, you know where to find this podcast, right?
Yes, we do. My Podcast Hub.
That's it.
On YouTube.
That's
Check it out. Follow us. Follow us now. Hit that button.
Subscribe, like, and share.
Yeah.
Perfect, Chris. Really enjoyed it today. So we would like to thank you for listening and for your support. And we'll see each other next week. Ciao, everyone.
See you guys.